But it's always a blessing to be on this side of the camera. It's always a blessing to be on this side of the ground. And it's always a blessing to be in front of this information, to be really leveling up our mindsets, to be leveling up the way that we do things so that we can go out and we can accomplish our dreams and goals. So today we got morning elevation. And today's topic is it's just gonna be I didn't get to complete the whole video, and I guess the audio is kind of choppy. But you know, I've been watching ET lately. I've been listening to ET. Some of his audios off of Apple Music, and the first one I watched was Average Skill, Phenomenal Will. And the basis of it was he was talking about like, yo, you could be average and still be better than folk. You could be average and be better than the folk with talent. Because, we've all heard, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. But I guess he kind of reverbed it. He said hard work beats talent when talent thinks that that's all that they need. And that's basically what he was talking about. It was like he was average. He had average skill. He wasn't the best. He wasn't the smartest. He wasn't the best by any means, but he had the will and he had the drive to be better than everybody else. And then he goes on in this one. I think this was on one of his Thank God It's Mondays. But he was just saying, I do it better. Hold up. Y'all go welcome Desmond in the chat real quick. I bet. But now on this one, he was basically saying, I do it better. And yeah, I know the last one that I showed y'all, it was like dominate your lane. So if you haven't found the bridge, and that's gonna be our topic for today, the bridge. If you haven't found the bridge between all of them, it's just the fact that one, it's on you. Two, you don't gotta be nobody special. You don't gotta be 5 star to stay in the 5 stars. And three, you gotta dominate. You gotta be the best. You gotta strive to be the best. If you don't strive to be the best, what are you here for, really? I know there's some people that's not their lane to be in the limelight, to be, doing all this, doing all that. But if you don't strive to be the best in your lane, what are you doing? Do you really have that sort of grit? You really got that drive if you don't want to be the best in your lane. See, me, I want to be the best. I want to be the best. I don't know about y'all, but I want to be the best. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the bridge. We're to talk about the bridge. That's going to be our topic for today. I hope y'all write that at the top of your paper. The bridge. Spiritual to physical. The bridge, spiritual to physical. So let's talk about it. We want to talk about how we can take what we see and what we know is in the spiritual, and we want to build a bridge and bring it over to the physical. And how do we do that? There's a few things. And the first one is simply going to be a decision. Mr. Rax talked about that yesterday. He said it simply just takes a decision because guess what? You have to voluntarily do this. This is not given to you. You have to voluntarily want to be great. You have to voluntarily establish the connection to the physical. That's what we're going to talk about here for the next couple of minutes. We're going to just talk about establishing or reestablishing your connection to the physical, because that's what you have to do. See, right now we're obviously in the physical. Some of us are in the physical, but we're in the natural. Some of us are in the spirit. Some of us are in the physical, but we're in the supernatural. So it's just a matter of one deciding to be great. But I'm gonna repeat that again. We're gonna talk about for the next few minutes here, just establishing or reestablishing your connection to the spiritual. Because some of us are in the physical, but we're in the natural. Some of us are in the spiritual. Some of us are in the physical, but we're in the supernatural. I keep getting the two mixed up. But now we're going to take where we are and we're going to establish our connection or reestablish our connection to the spiritual. First thing it takes is just a decision to be great. Once you do that, once you make a decision to just go on the journey, everything else will fall in line. Everything else will fall in line. Because guess what? Once you make a decision, you say, okay, I'm going to do this now. What's going to happen? That means you have accepted whatever comes along with it. Like I said, this is voluntary. You don't volunteer for this kind of work. You have to accept it. Ain't no job position. Ain't no nothing really. Almost nothing that just gives you the work and the information and everything we have access to just offer it. They don't just give that to you. You have to accept it. One, you have to look for it. That's a whole nother training. You have to look for it. Two, you got to find it. More importantly, you got to realize that you found it. And guess what? You have to accept it. And once you accept it, everything really starts to fall into play. Because guess what? Once you decide, you now have a sense of direction. You now have an end goal because you know what comes along with the work. Now, the second prerequisite to establishing your connection to the spiritual is your belief. Now, I want to talk about this right quick. Belief, because I'm going to talk about this for the next one too. Belief and faith are not the same thing. They go hand in hand, but they're not the same thing. Belief triggers a spiritual action. Faith triggers physical action. See, anybody can believe, but not everybody can believe to the point where they have faith. And I'm gonna put it to you like this. Everybody can believe a cruise ship can stay afloat. Everybody can believe a cruise ship can make it from Florida to the Bahamas or to Jamaica or wherever. But not everybody is going to have faith in that boat to where if they get on it, everything is going to be good. Because guess what? Somebody got to live to tell the story. That is the difference between belief and faith. Now, if you want to talk about faith, I don't know where y'all at right now. I don't know if y'all at a desk. I don't know if y'all are still in the bed. I don't know. But if you're at a desk like myself, you have a chair. See, I have faith in this chair Because I took physical action. Facts. Facts. Because I took physical action. Yes, I believe that the chair is here to hold me up, but I also have faith that it will if I sit in it. And it's the same thing. Like, belief causes you to think differently. Belief causes you to accept on a further scale the work and the outcome of whatever you're doing. That's what that is. People say raise your belief level. It's just like stuff becomes more and more real to you. You can go to all the events you like. You can see all the cars. You can see all the houses. You can do all of that. But you have to raise your belief level to the point where you start to have faith. Now, what I mean by that is believe till you have faith. Believe so much to the point where taking physical action is an insult by not taking physical action. So believe in whatever you're doing to the point where it will be an insult not to take physical action. Like, think about it like this. If I'm sitting there, I'm looking at this chair that I'm sitting in right now. Man, I believe that chair can hold me up. I go in the kitchen. I go in the dining room. Everybody's sitting down except me because, I'm still raising my belief level and it's holding everybody else up. Then I go to my grandma's house and then we got chairs galore. All the family come over, all the chairs holding them up, and I still won't sit down. And at this point, it's an insult to the chair not to sit down because it was made to hold you up. That's a key word. It was made to hold you up. So now it would be an insult to the chair not to sit down. Hence why I'm in one right now. I know that may be more of like a kiddish type of analogy, but the same thing works. At some point in time, you got to look at what we got going on here. You got to go to the events. Yeah. You got to go to the events. You got to help. You got to get on the Zoom calls. You got to take your notes. You got to get on YouTube University. You got to get in the academies. You got to look at all the chairmen. You got to look at all the platinum leaders. You got to look at all the customers that's coming in their first 24 hours and making bands. You got to sit and look. Your belief may be up here, but you need to raise it a little bit more because at this point, it is an insult to I Am Academy not to take physical action. It's an insult. Believe to the points where you have faith. And faith is a physical action. That's when you start moving different. That's when you start moving different. Faith is when you start moving different. Whenever you have faith, that's when it starts working in your heart. Your mind is already fixed. That's where belief comes in. Belief changes the way that you think because it starts to get more and more real. The difference between uh, fact and fantasy is starting to get a little bit closer. That's really all belief is everybody starts out with a different difference from belief, from fact and fantasy. All your belief level does is just closes the gap until it's like right here, right smack in the middle. Fantasy is fact. And that's just because the business that we in. Fantasy is fact. I tell my parents, like, it's crazy. Cause, I'm gonna tell y'all a little backstory. Me and my aunt, her birthday is the day before mine. And every year we go out to eat and, we just do it like that. And this year, we got IM3 and I'm coming back that Saturday. And then yesterday she was like, Marquise, where we going this year? And I was like, I don't know. Cause I told her she can come to Miami, but she wasn't going for it. So she was like, where we going? I was like, I said, Ruth Chris. My grandpa said, what? He said, what? Ruth Chris. And it was like the steakhouse. And I was like, yeah. And it's just it blows me. Cause before my mind was just like, all right, we can go to Cracker Barrel. All right, we can go to Smash Crab. We can go to LA Crawfish. We can go to this, but I'm talking about Ruth Chris now. I'm talking about Chama Gaucho. I'm talking about I'm talking about Kobe, not KW. I'm talking about Kobe restaurant. And the fact that when I start to talk about some of the things that I want to do, some of the things that some of y'all have experienced out at events, like they still think that it's fantasy land. And I put that on one of my Facebook posts. I said, yo, like we gotta start changing our perspective, because a lot of people, they think that a lot of this stuff that we be talking about, a lot of the stuff that they gossip about is fantasy land, but it ain't, because it's so real right now. Like anybody can do it. Anybody can get to that level. I was like, but people, they have this stigma. They have this, I don't want. They have this stigma that it's just fantasy. But it's not. And it's crazy how we're working on it right now. Like, I was like, y'all need to realize and get it together now, because y'all quick to talk when come tax season, and you talking about tax write-offs and all of this stuff. You really want to talk about the rich folk instead of putting in the work so you can be with the rich folk to come tax time. There's a difference. Then I said, create the life of your dreams. You don't necessarily have to accept the one that was given. So that's just faith, bro. Faith, like faith, I said this yesterday, it's absolute. You either have it or you don't. You either have it or you don't. There's no half faith. There's half belief, but there's not half faith. Once you have, if you have faith, you can't say that you don't. You don't act as if you don't. And if you do, you don't have faith. You have belief. I said belief can change. I can say something to you and your belief level can go up or it can go down. But if you have faith, I can say something contradicting whatever you have faith in. You're gonna be like, you gotta tell me. I'm like, bro, you can keep that. Because I know this works. Why do you think so many of these chairmen, when folk tell them, or not even chairman, but just a lot of people that see a lot of results from this. Why do you think people of that stature laugh when people say that this don't work? Are you kidding me? This doesn't work. So I'm just not getting commas every week from this. Like, what? That's faith. That's faith. It's to the point where anything contradicting what you got going on is an insult, because it works, or else you wouldn't have faith. See, a lot of time we talk about, faith, some things hope for, evidence of things not seen. That's same kind of faith. But I'm talking about faith that gets you to do something. We're gonna talk about the rest of faith here in a second. Why I started to put that on my Facebook, but uh I got some older folk on there. They might have a bit of tongue on that. I might still do it. I'm feeling a little bold today, like this here coffee. But I said, y'all trying to retire at 65. I'm retiring next year and I'm 19. Huh. I'm not talking about no little baby retire either. I'm not talking about no little Millie. I ain't talking about no little Millie. I'll blow through $1 million in a minute. I'll blow through $1 million in a minute. I'll blow through $100 in a minute. But I'll squeeze it if I have to. That's just the type of person I am now. But that's what we was talking about. You, you have to want to realize that you are a supernatural being having a natural experience. I talked about some of us are in the physical, but we're in the natural. But some of us are in the physical and we're in the supernatural. And I'm gonna tell you the difference. In the physical, there are two places. You have the supernatural and you have the natural. The natural is where reality is, and this is where most people live. So that 60% we talk about in the op call, that 35% we talk about in the op call, that's where they are. They're in the natural. Now, folk like us, you got some that's you know in between, and you got some that's in the supernatural because we do supernatural stuff. Like I asked in the leadership chat one time, I was like, "Yo, like, should I have a go kart, and just do it like that, or should I write my goals down every day?" And then shout out to Miss Destiny, shout out to Mr. Heidi. They say both of them. That's supernatural stuff. That's supernatural stuff. This is where it get. This is where it gets a little. This is where it gets a little. It gets a little making sense-ish. So the difference between the spiritual and the natural is stuff that the supernatural people do. The natural people think look crazy. Now, the difference between the supernatural and the natural is that when the natural look at what the supernatural people do, they think they look crazy. So I'm gonna tell you something right now. All of us are supernatural. We just don't know where we are until we get to the supernatural. That's why it's up to us as leaders to actually go down there and put people on game and cross them over. Not cross recruit, cross them over. We'll talk about that later here in a second. But that's important because everybody is supernatural. Subconsciously, we all know that we're supernatural. And I guarantee you, all 24 people on this call, when you were in the natural, because you're now in the supernatural, when you were in the natural and you were in that loop, like I don't know what everybody's life looked like, but I know that everybody was in the natural at one point. Subconsciously, you had something telling you that you were meant for more. You don't even gotta type no numbers in the chat. I already know because it was meant to be that way. Everybody was meant to be supernatural. Everybody was meant to be supernatural. It's just the system, the infrastructure that's in place now is meant to bring more people to the natural, to the reality. Why do you think when you get 10 years old, you start wanting to use your imagination more once you get to a certain point? Your parents tell you to be more realistic, to let reality set in. They take some of the stuff that's in the book too far. And then guess what? Guess what? The world wants you to be normal. The world wants you to be natural. And then guess what? Guess what? Mr. Hardy said, killing all our hopes and dreams, man. But guess what? What happens when you still want to pursue your imagination after the point to where reality is supposed to set in? You look crazy. You look crazy. Like, think about it. Think about it. This is not the best example, but it's the best example I can come up with right now. What do they tell people that believe in Santa Claus at 13 years old? You know what it's happening. Call them a child. They call them crazy. Like, are you stupid? Are you crazy? Exactly. 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 Now, I'm gonna put you on game. What do adults tell 18-year-olds when they graduate high school and go into college? What do they tell them when they say, I don't want to go to college. I want to pursue my dream? You're crazy. You need to be going to school. You need to be doing something. You need to go get a trade. You know, you gotta this their favorite phrase, bro. You gotta put food on the table. You gotta eat. You gotta have a job. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now, bro? Like what? You said, make this make sense. Make this make sense. All right. Because this is gonna make sense when I go over how your purpose is created and how it is delivered to you. But boom. Like, you mean to tell me you want me to go to an institution where I gotta pay anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 a year, which I don't have because I just graduated high school. I more than likely have no credit because black brown parents have a stigma behind putting their kids on their credit line, so they build credit. So you more than likely have no credit. Then you're going to go to an institution to take out loans that you can't pay to learn stuff. Not even learn stuff, because you don't even learn stuff in college no more. To go learn stuff that you don't even necessarily need to apply because it doesn't take 4 years to learn how to be an employee. And you want me to get paid 50 to 75,000 a year when I have 120 in debt? So I have to work a year, and that's if I get all of my money, and you don't even get that. So I'd have to work 2-3 years in order for me to get out of the hole. And then how many years is it going to take me to retire after that? You know how to be skimpy with these raises now, opposed to having an almost guaranteed ride to success. And all I have to do is decide, have belief, turn that belief into faith, tap into the spiritual, and then everything else will just fall into play like that, and I can get anything that I want. Exactly. Not a guaranteed job when you graduate too. I know folk I know folk that's got a degree and they still looking for a job. Let's talk about it. For me, school is only worth it if you're going for law, medical, science, or engineering. That's it. If you're not going into one of those four, you need to join Forex. You need to join I Am Academy so you can get some financial diversity in your life so you can offset some of these loans. That's just me. That's just me. Well, we talk about building your belief to the point to where you have faith. Yo, I got some in my eye, bro. Building your belief to the point to where you have faith. Now, once you have faith, you understand that you're a supernatural being, and should you still be in the natural? Let's talk about it, because some of us, we're already in the supernatural. But let's say that we come in contact with a prospect or something that's still in the natural. Here's what you gotta do. You still gotta use these same principles, but it works. You have one extra step. And this is honestly the most crucial and why a lot of people don't maintain their prospects. And this is something that I just came across recently, is that a lot of people, when they go and they prospect them, they are not adequate escapes from reality. What I mean by that, the difference between the supernatural and the natural is reality. You have to remove reality for a person to believe that they're a supernatural being. And in order for them to do that, they have to have a safe place to escape reality. And you have to be the adequate source. Because you're the supernatural one, or you're supposed to be. So when people escape reality, when people come out of that, come out of their livelihood before their paradigm is going to be shifted, you have to be that safe place. That's why when you talk to people, you find out what their problems are. You find out what they're dealing with. And not only do you solve their problems, but you help them solve their problems. Not only monetarily, not only by money, but mentally and spiritually as well. That's what a real leader does. Once you do that, they will trust you enough to escape reality. And that's where you come in and you shift their paradigm. Once you do that, you don't even got to send them the link. They'll ask for it. If you haven't sent it already. Now, that's the extra step. Now, once you do all of this, it's actually quite easy. Once you realize that you're a supernatural being having a natural experience, you can now make a connection or reconnect yourself to your imagination. That's it. That's the key right there. Is just connecting or reconnecting to your imagination. Your imagination is the bridge. Your imagination is the bridge between the spiritual and the physical. Because guess what? Guess what? Your purpose is shown in images in your imagination. And that's why a lot of people, and this is what I be telling these church folk, because a lot of these church folk, they quick to solely depend on God, but they don't realize that it's stuff that they got to do down here too, in order for them to really find their purpose. Like they spend half a lifetime searching for their purpose, but everybody has access to their purpose. Everybody does. Everybody knows exactly why they're here. Or not gonna say everybody knows, but everybody has access to exactly why they're here. And it's shown in their imagination. But a lot of people never tap into the source. They always tap into the outlet. Now I'm gonna explain what I mean by that. Over time, success is like a quarter. I mean, not success. Well, success slash happiness, rather. Success slash happiness. And it's basically like a quarter. Heads is desire, tails is fulfillment. A lot of people, what they'll do is when they want to become happy, when they want to become successful, their lives always end up on one side of the quarter. They're either they either fulfill their desire and lack a sense of fulfillment, or they find their sense of fulfillment and they don't really have any desire. And more than likely, brown people, they go for the latter. They find a sense of fulfillment because of their socioeconomic status. They become content. But over time, they start to realize they have a desire. Like let's say they have one job and they desire another job. It's like a shortcut to getting it that way. Or people go after their desires and they have their desires, but they lack a sense of fulfillment. Hold on, let me do this real quick. They lack a sense of fulfillment. They don't have that thing that anchors them to their happiness. So they don't have it. So where your imagination comes in is that you get both fulfillment and desire. See, because you can tap in to your desire without tapping into your imagination. Now, people, they think fulfillment as content, but fulfillment isn't content. Fulfillment is not content. Fulfillment is fulfillment. Content is just settling, basically. You may have some desires, but you settle without it because you have a stable life and you're grateful for it, which is nothing wrong with it. But if you tap into the source, your imagination, you will have both desire and fulfillment because your desire comes from your imagination. Because guess what? And it's honestly crazy how this works. So your desire, any desire that you have, does not come from you. I hope you know that. I hope you know that. So whatever Marquise wants, yeah, I want it, but the reason why I want it doesn't stem from anything that I did or anything that I am doing. It all stems back to something in my imagination. And this is why it's important. Because your imagination is the bridge between the spiritual and guess what? The physical. I know this may be, small in comparison, but if I want a new pair of bricks, we all know the cycle of how it becomes in the spiritual and then you just manifest it in the physical. We all know all of that. We know that. We know, oh, I want some new bricks. Some of us may some of us may be doing this. Hold on. Y'all want a new pair of bricks, and then you're like, I'm so happy and grateful now that I can pay for a new pair of bricks. Some of y'all may do that. But a lot of people that was like, yo, I want some new bricks. Yo, I want some new bricks. They talk about it all the time. And then guess what? They get, $150. Guess what? They at City Gear going to go buy some bricks. But you see how it started out in this spiritual and then the physical? But I'm telling you, anything life changing, anything dealing with where your life is going to go stems from your imagination and it drives into your desire. And your desire turns into your thoughts. Your thoughts turn into your words. Your words turn into your actions and the outwards expression. We know, we know the pipeline. Okay, okay. Your perspective drives your performance. Your perspective drives your thoughts. Your thoughts drive your words. Your words, we know what happens then. So imagine what you could do now. You have now had belief, you've had faith, you've reconnected back to your imagination, and then guess what? All you have to do is wait now. Because it always shows up. If you pay attention to what's in your imagination, you'll start to get pictures and images on stuff that's not necessarily a present fact, stuff that you can do. That is your purpose. The images that you see in your imagination are your purpose. Because guess what? They came from the spiritual. Because, like I said, your imagination is the bridge between the spiritual and the physical. And your purpose starts out in the spiritual, but shows up in your imagination. And guess what? Shows up in your imagination. You have one or two choices. You can either accept it or you can deny it. Either way, it's still your purpose. It's not going to change. It's not going to change. It's just a matter of you accepting it or denying it. A lot of people, they look at this business, and they come in for it being a quick solution, a quick fix. But in my opinion, you can come in and really find your purpose off of this. And in many cases, people already know what it is. They just lack the vehicle to do it. A lot of people know what their purpose is already, and they don't even know how they got it, but they know what it is. They just don't have an adequate vehicle to take them there. I was one of those people. In the back of my head, I always knew what I was supposed to do. And all this business did was make it make sense. I grew up, and this is how I know that I will go far in this. I grew up, and literally almost every day, I was told what my purpose was. Almost every day. Every single. Can you imagine that? After a few years, I got tired of it, really. But then I just learned to deal with it. Because if everybody says it, it's bound to be some truth to it. And when I got to the point where I was graduating high school, I really didn't know. I even told my mom, I was like, yo, like, I think I know what I'm supposed to do, but there is no college degree that even fits that category. Like, see, me, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know when I'm gonna do it. But Marquise Finch is going to lead the biggest organization that this city has ever seen. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know when I'm gonna do it. But there are gonna be people lining up to hear what I gotta say. I don't know how. I don't know when. But I know that it's gonna happen. Because not only have I been told that almost every day since I was able to understand what the fuck was saying, but now that I'm in this business, it starts to make sense. Some of the stuff that I see in here, I'm bringing into the physical. It's taking me a little longer than some of y'all. It's done. It's done. But a lot of this, and I'm gonna be real transparent. everything really everything really didn't make sense until this year. I'll tell you that right now. I went through almost 6 months in this business, and it started to make sense, but not complete sense. It wasn't until this year, maybe like a few weeks ago, where it really just made sense. And it just started. I was really a bridge. I was really a bridge. It really didn't make sense. My bridge was not completed until a few weeks ago. And that may ring true to some of you as well. It took a year for my bridge to be completed. Some of y'all, it may take 3 months. Some of y'all, it may take 60 days. Oh, that's too much. Some 30. Some of y'all, it may take a year and a half. But my gestation took a very long time. Some of it, my fault, because you could get it your own way. I'll admit that. Some of it, my fault. But a lot of it, that was just work being done on my bridge. And you start to know when your bridge is completed when it just goes from the physical and just starts flowing outward. If you could get on a call, if you can, I'm gonna put it to you like this: if you can host a call and you could do a whole hour training, and if it really starts flowing, an hour and a half, 2 hours. Shout out to Rudy. But once it really starts flowing like that, and you end the call, and your mentor calls you, let's say somebody wasn't plugging in and they called you, And they say, bro, I missed the call. Like, what was the topic? Give me some sauce right quick. You know, I still wanna be a part. And then you say, bro, I don't even remember what I said. I don't even know what I said. That's how you know your bridge is complete. That's how you know your bridge is complete. Because when your bridge is complete, you are like glass. You are like a telephone. When your bridge is complete, you can move yourself out of the way. And it's just some stuff from the spiritual that is just talking through you. When you're complete, you are God's telephone to somebody on that call. And if you're recording it, somebody somewhere. That's why I record all of my calls now. I record all of my calls now because I know that if it ain't for somebody that's on the call right now, it's for somebody. And somebody gonna see me at an event, probably a year or so down the line, and they gonna tell me, Marquise, bro, dude, sir, that video you did, I think it was a morning elevation in May of last year. Yo, that was the one that did it for me. I didn't really understand that I could be a bridge from the spiritual to the physical. I've really been searching for my purpose for a long time now. And thanks to your call, I can now bridge the gap. It can start to make sense. Or they can even say, I did that already, and now I'm starting to see the benefits of it. I start to see the stuff that's in here now. I start to become more aware of it. And now I'm starting to bring more stuff from the spiritual for the physical. I already know that. It's not a question. I already know. That's why I got a collection of videos that I got to post on YouTube now. Matter of fact, I just had another thing pop up in my head. I'm thinking about doing a call every week. I haven't decided what day, but a call every week. Kind of like Mindset Mastery, but Marquis style. Just so that the stuff that does come out of my mouth, because some stuff just be popping up. No cap. Some stuff just be popping up out of nowhere. That's why I got this in my phone now. Like this training right here was one of the pop-ups. Watch this. All right. So I got a notes full of pop-ups. I got notes full of pop-ups. And sometimes, and this is how you know you're a telephone or your glass or you're a Segway. You can see something. You can see words that weren't necessarily meant for the purpose as they were presented. But you will look at it and you will see something completely different. And you say, that's different. I'm going to write it down. And then I go back to one and I write it down. This was a pop-up really. And I look at it. And guess what? I create an entire hour and a half training off of. That's how powerful being a bridge from the spiritual to the physical is. Some of the stuff you can't control. Some of the stuff, that's just the way it is. Some of the stuff you can't control. But you have access to your purpose, which is meant for you to carry out right now. And for a lot of people, this was the missing piece. As it pertains to building a business, you don't need another training. As it pertains to mindset mastery, you don't need another training. As it pertains to trading, you don't need another training. As it pertains to inlighting, you don't need another training. You don't need another PS3. You don't need another foundation. You got everything you need to go chairman right now. It's just a matter of what you're gonna do with chairman. See, a lot of people, they want to go chairman to make chairman money. That's boring. Some people, they want to go chairman to make chairman money. That's boring. Some people, they want to go chairman to stay chairman. That's boring. It's about what you do with chairman. And this is the last piece, because you can find out what your purpose is. And once you do go chairman, I'm gonna put it to you like this. Wherever you are right now, you build your way to initiate your purpose, so that when you do, oh man, you about to turn up. Me myself, I'm about to go so legit with this, bro. Like, bro, you don't even, some of y'all don't even know, but I'm gonna go so legit with this. I'm building my way up. When my chairman flyer drops, like, y'all live for something. Y'all live for something when my chairman flyer drops. But until it comes, until the package is delivered, I'm making preparations so that when it comes, I am in full execution mode. And you know you're in business when your preparation is your purpose. You know you're in business when your preparation is your purpose. My preparation is doing exactly what I'm doing right now. My preparation is being a telephone. Somebody on this call needed this. Somebody that's going to view the recorder needed this. And that's my preparation. That's my preparation. See, and this is the change. This is how I know that it's coming. Because guess what? Yesterday, I talked in front of, some people. It's nothing that I haven't done before, but it was the first time that I actually, taught from a shifted paradigm. Any other time, I would have got up there and got scared. My hand would have been shaking. Mind you, I know how to talk, but it's always something about when you start talking, it's just like, not shaking this hard, but just, you got that little, ugh. But when you start talking, everything's all good. But from this, I was like, oh, this is another training. This finna be a breeze. Because I was really talking about the same stuff that I'm talking about right now. I was like, this finna be a breeze. But you know you're on the right track when your preparation is your purpose. Man, that's good. That deserves a sip of coffee, bro. Yeah. But whoa, it's 10 o'clock already. Yo, it's 10 o'clock already. I didn't even know that. See, look, that did it again. Last time I looked at the clock, it was 9:30. Last time I looked at the clock, it was 9:30. Man, that's crazy. Now, do you want the rest of it? I can stop right there. But do y'all want the rest of it? you want the rest of it? Drop some ones in the chat if you want me to go ahead and finish. Ain't much left. Ain't much left. But there is a little bit left. And it's something that you already know. So we taking this. No, it ain't enough for a part two. Because it's already, like, the stuff that I'm gonna talk about is already out there. But I'm gonna read it verbatim. All right. So let's just do a recap. We already know, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will always speak. And this goes back to being a bridge between the spiritual and the physical. But we talked about belief being triggering a spiritual action. Now look, your belief causes you to think so differently that you'll be open to tap more into the spiritual. Once your faith matures, once your belief matures to faith, that's when you'll start to say, affirmations, dream build, staying in the dream, staying in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Once you master this, the bridge builds itself. You are the bridge from the spiritual to the physical, and all it takes is desire. And that's where DI comes in. So we all know the success formula: desire plus skill times faith equals success. It goes hand in hand. Your desire, spiritual. You can't see desire. Desire is something that just works on the inside. What builds your desire? Your belief, then matures to faith. Once you do that, you'll have desire. And your desire will trigger a decision. Once you trigger a decision, you will be more open. You want to accept what comes with it. That means mastery. Mastery of the skills. And that's your earthly work. See, you got spiritual work, you got earth work. Your skills, your mastery, mindset mastery, mundane mastery, that's physical earthly work. That's physical. And your faith, it just backs up your earthly work. It ensures a sincere work ethic. That's the difference between belief and faith. When you have faith, it ensures a sincere work ethic. You can tell when somebody in your business has faith because you don't got to tell them nothing. But you can tell when somebody in your business has belief because you always have to raise it in order for them to have faith. That's the difference between people moving and people don't move it. There's no lazy. There's no anybody can go chairman in this business. Anybody can be successful in this business. It's just a matter of building belief to the point to where it matures to faith. The runners in your business have faith. They don't have belief. Belief is child's play. When you got faith, you know this works. Off rip, you know this works for a fact. You know for a fact that this works. But that is my time. That is my time. Shout out to those of you that stayed. I just look at the participants. Yo, shout out to y'all that stayed. This was fun.